Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to talk about how I prepare myself for my first outdoor FPV ACRO with a RACER quad, and I hope that my experience will help you in your hobby of learning how to fly FPV ACRO. So first thing that I have done with my preparation was to learn flying FPV ACRO on simulators. So I have been flying FPV ACRO on simulators for about few months now, and I've spent over probably 20 hours on simulator, and I also have done some indoor FPV with Furibee F36, and if some of you who have been following my channel will probably know that. If not, I've got some links in below this video for you to click on. They are my playlist, and I have stressed that it is important if you want to learn FPV ACRO that you need to learn how to fly line of sight ACRO. The reason that you need to know line of sight ACRO is because you need to understand how a quad behaves while it's flying in the air while in ACRO mode. So you need to know if you pitch forward, you will fly, and then how you turn with your yaw sticks, and also you smooth out the yaw turn with your aileron sticks. And also I must also stress the importance of learning how to fly FPV ACRO in the underground scenario, because by doing that you learn how to do final sticks control with FPV ACRO, and also it helps you in your muscles memory for your thumbs. So it's very important for any future direction that you're going in flying FPV ACRO is to learn simulators, because if not, you're going to have a lot of problems when you're actually flying it, because you'll be trying to flip or roll, and also you'll be trying to do different flying, and because you don't know how to fly FPV ACRO and how to fly line of sight ACRO, that you don't really know how a quad behaves. So you're going to crash a lot, and you're going to lose a lot of money in the process. So I have learned that, and I have applied those skills in my first time FPV ACRO with my X210 RACER quad. I call this my Gravity X210 RACER quad. This is built by my friend Pilot Andrew, that I recently featured in my series of video called Project Kick, and he has built this as an entry-level quad for me. I just gave him some of the parts that I have and that I previously bought for really cheap. I think it was around $50. I think if you have seen my video, then you know what parts I'm talking about. So he did a combination of parts and he built this quad for me. So this is a really nice quad, and it's very strong. And the only damage that I did to my quad was I flipped and then I damaged the cap for the antenna. So otherwise I did crash a bit. I didn't have a major crash, just flipping while landing. So in that sense, because of my training in FPV ACRO in the simulator, so I was able to avoid very serious crash. So in terms of a quadcopter flying ACRO FPV outdoors, it's good that you need to have a very strongly built quad, and because it can withstand a lot of bashing around. So that's very important. So you need to have somebody build it for you, and if you want Andrew to build for you, I put the links down of his email and you can contact him. And the thing is, I want to talk about the quad is that just because you want to fly RACER quad, it doesn't mean that you need to know how to build. Just like when you want to drive a car, do you necessarily know how to build a car? You don't. You buy it from a shop, from the showroom, and then you take it home and you fly it. If not you fly it, you drive your car. And if there's any problem with your car, you take it to a mechanic, and they will fix it for you. So in terms of quad, it's also the same thing. If you want a good built quad, it's very difficult to get a good ones ready to fly, and they're not really usually a good build. Even for the Eachine Wizard X210, it's a good quad, but then the quality control is not there. So there's still a lot of issues. So if you want a good quad, you better get somebody local to build for you, or you buy off somebody who can build very well, so that you can fly, you can enjoy your flight while you're doing your FPV ACRO. Like I did with this quad, it was still very good for me. It's the right amount of yaw, pitch and roll, and I really enjoy flying this one. And that's the quad that I want to talk about. The next thing that you need, or before I move on, the other thing that is important that you need to know is that you need to have a good FPV goggle. So mine is the Fat Shark Dominator V3. The reason why I use this Fat Shark Dominator V3 is because it has the built-in DVR, and it can also take diversity module, and it's also very practical to bring to the field because you don't need a separate DVR. It's very important that you need to have a DVR built into your goggles, because one thing you can record your flight, and then after that you can review your flights and to see what went wrong when you were flying, and also how you can avoid obstacles, mistakes, and you can also review and see your normal quad behavior while it's flying, like your height distance relative to the ground and your distance from you to the tree in front of you and things like that. So you can review your flights and you can fly better next time. The other thing that you need a recorder is because if you drop your quad somewhere, or like me, when I was flying this quad, I crashed it and I didn't realize that I broke the cap. So when I review my DVR recording, I was able to pinpoint the location where it crashed. So then I tried to find this cap, and I managed to find this. So this is really not the issue about finding the cap. It's really the issue about finding your quad. If you ever fly and then lose it. And so that's why the DVR is very important. And also portability and practicality of FPV goggles, because for something like this you can just bring it and without having to worry about the big size of the box shaped type of goggles. And the other thing is that I like this type of binoculars goggle because the screen is in front of you. Like for example, this one is like sitting at the back of the cinema and you're looking at the big screen in front of you, the wide screen. And because the screen is in front of you, you can see the full picture. You can see the obstacles before they actually come out to you, and you can basically, look around before you fly to your next location on the screen. So that's very important because just like when you drive your car, you need to be able to anticipate what's coming up before you actually reach there, so that you can avoid obstacles, or you can do pre-planning driving before you actually reach your destination. So that's very important for me. So if you want to fly using a box-shaped type of goggles, I don't think it's impossible to fly with those, because if you follow my videos in learning how to fly FPV ACRO in using simulators and also FPV indoor, you notice that the most important thing about flying FPV is you need to understand your throttle position, and you need to look at the screen and you see where your natural throttle, 50% throttle is for your quad. And if you can understand that, if you fly around, then you be able to use also the box shaped type goggles to fly, because you don't really need to look at the screen that much. So it's possible, but I still prefer these binoculars type of goggles. So DVR recording is very important because it's best that the DVR is built into your goggles so that you don't have to bring extra DVR recorder. The next thing I want to talk about is the transmitter. You have been hearing a lot about Frsky transmitter, especially the Frsky X9D or X9D Plus, and recently you have the Taranis Frsky QX7. I have never really flown any quad outdoors using the Frsky X9D that I have. So in this video, this is the first time I flew using the Frsky X9D outdoors, and I can report back to you that it's actually very good. In no stage of my flights, I felt I was losing control of the quad, and it was buttery smooth, the control when I input on the sticks, and when I look at the screen, it responded perfectly. So there was no time I lost signals, and there's no time there was any dropout. So I was really happy, and I was very confident of flying FPV with the free Frsky Taranis X9D. And the other thing is that the Frsky Taranis X9D has a voice command and also voice warning. Although I didn't set mine with a voice command or voice warning, I think it's necessary because while I was flying, when I had my goggles on, I really would have appreciated the timer countdown, or when I flip the switch, it would have, the voice command would have, informed me that I was flipping which switch and whether it was ACRO, horizon, or angle mode. So that's why the Frsky X9D with voice command is very good. So if you're flying FPV, you need to have voice command on your transmitter. So I'm recommending that you fly Frsky because the signal was really good, and also you can now buy the little brother, which is the Taranis QX7. In fact, a lot of pilots are switching away from the Frsky X9D to the Taranis QX7. So I was flying 5 batteries, and that was enough for me to get familiar with flying the quad. And before I forget, it's also important that if you have a buzzer on your quad, because if you ever lost it, you could find it pretty much very easily. So because I didn't have the timer voice command on my Taranis, I did bring a stopwatch with me. So I basically set 3 minutes. So after 3 minutes I brought in the quad. I think this type of battery can fly for longer than 3 minutes, but I didn't want to push the battery too hard, so I just did it for 3 minutes. So this video is going to be quite long. I hope you bear with me. And the next 5 videos are videos of my flights and me getting familiar with the controls. And I have commentaries over the videos, so you can listen to the commentary and analyze my flight video. So the first video that I have after this introduction is really taking my quad line of sight, because before you can actually fly FPV ACRO, you need to understand how your quad behaves line of sight, so that you know where the natural position is at around 50% throttle, and also how powerful it is when you're punching up, and how it behaves in ACRO mode, horizon or angle, if you decide to fly in angle or horizon mode. I use angle mode to just getting myself, familiarized with the controls, like yawing, pitching, rolling, and then after that I switch it off, and then I did a bit of ACRO, and so that I understand how it behaves when I move the stick, how smooth it is, how fast the yaw is, and how steep the pitch and rolls were. So very important that you take this line of sight, and also that's why I say it's very important that you learn a bit of line of sight ACRO. So I hope my experience helped you in your hobby, and I'll be flying more FPV ACRO with this quad, and I'll be putting up more videos about my adventure in FPV racers. So I think this is all that I need to say for now, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video, and please like and subscribe to my channel for more videos, and if you like my videos, just put a thumbs up on my video. So until next time, please enjoy the rest of the videos. Cheers. Okay, in this video I'm taking my RACER quad for line of sight flying, because if you want to do FPV ACRO, you really need to understand how your quad flies line of sight. You need to get yourself familiarized with the controls, and you look at the characteristic of the quad while it's flying line of sight. So here I'm getting ready the quad and just setting the timer. Now after I set the timer, just starting it with a stabilized mode, because I haven't flown this FPV, this RACER quad before. So I'm just taking it up and just making sure that I know how the quad behaves. So just now you can see that I'm just flying it around, and just to make it go around the circle, and then try to yaw it. And you understand what I'm trying to do if you look at the screen. And after flying this for a little while I had to land it, and then I pick it up, and I decided then to switch it to a bit of testing it with the throttle test, and just to see that where the natural position is in terms of the 50% throttle, and also I'm trying to do some punch out to see how powerful the quad is. So I'm just flying it around for a little while, just testing the throttle. So now that I'm a bit more used to the throttle, so I'm now switching it over to ACRO mode. So I need to understand how the quad behaves in ACRO mode when I move my sticks while turning it around, because once you put on your goggles, you can't see the quad, but you will have a mental picture of your quad moving around in your screen, and you have a mental picture of line of sight quad, so that is much easier for you to then control. So the last part of this video is I go back to stabilize mode, and then just to again get myself familiarized with the controls again. And then I just fly around a bit, and after that I just land it, and I go on to the next part of the video, which is then I put on my goggles and I started flying FPV. So please enjoy the rest of the videos, and also enjoy the part 2, 3, 4 and 5, where I use 4 batteries to get myself familiarized with the quad flying FPV aircraft. So the best thing to do is, if you want to fly FPV aircraft for the first time, take about 5 batteries, and you should be alright by the end of the session. So enjoy the rest of the video. Hope to see you guys soon. Cheers. So this is my first battery flying FPV RACER quad, and I didn't know what to expect. And in my previous video, I was flying my quad line of sight to get myself comfortable with the flight characteristic of my quad. And here, when I took off, I flew too close to the ground, and I was pitching forward too much, and it was flying with excessive speed, and I kept hitting the ground. And this was because I wasn't very comfortable with the quad, and my fingers were really shaking a lot, as I wasn't ready, and I wasn't expecting how I could fly FPV ACRO for the first time anywhere. Even when I was flying indoors in my house with the tiny whoop F36, I was using the stabilized mode, and I haven't really flown ACRO FPV except in my Velocidrone simulator and FPV Freerider, and here I crashed. And in this crash, I managed to bend the antenna, but everything else was still fine. And I want to talk about how important it is to have a well-built quad. And with a well-built quad, you wouldn't be damaging it that much. And also, here I also want to say something about simulators. I must urge you to fly simulators a lot, because if I hadn't flown any simulators and also indoor FPV, I would have crashed so much and I would have seriously damaged my quad, and I have to spend a lot of money fixing it. But because I had done quite a few hours of FPV ACRO on my simulator, I was fairly well equipped to fly FPV ACRO for the first time. The only thing that I wasn't familiar with is flying out in the open field and in the real world and feeling the weight of the quad and how it performs in real world conditions. So here I'm still trying very hard to find where the throttle position was in terms of my position to the ground, and I was still pitching too much and flying with excessive speed, and I was flying fairly close to the ground, as you can see, and I was still very nervous, and I didn't know what I was doing. As you can see here, I was just randomly flying around and trying to get myself familiar with how the quad was moving around. And here I crashed again. So I think this was the second time that I crashed the quad, and I decided that I think it was the final crash for the first battery, and I just stopped flying. I think after that I was just bringing in my quad, and the only thing that was damaged was just the antenna. Okay, here I'm on my second battery, and in my first battery video I was a bit nervous and my fingers were really shaky, so I crashed 2 times. So I was being quite cautious with the second battery, and because I still wasn't very comfortable with the throttle and hovering and looking at through these goggles, because I was using these goggles for the first time, and this was the first time I was flying my X210 RACER quad. So I was just trying to get comfortable with flying as close to the ground as possible, and I didn't want to crash it too much, and I was basically just flying around in a circle as close to myself as possible and as low to the ground as possible. And here I'm trying to see how the sticks work in your turn and trying to level up and also trying to slow down here and pitching forward and turning. This is pitching forward, and I try to make sure that I was flying consistently. And here turning to the right using the yaw and leveling up and trying to slow down. Slow, turn, pitch forward and turn using the yaw, turn, pitch forward. So this is basically like me using the simulator, and I was just seeing how I am relative to the ground. And here pitching forward again and yawing to the right, and you can see that the quad has to be brought back, and as soon as you pitch forward it went forward again. So you can see I was flying fairly close to the ground, and up to this part is almost 3 minutes. So I'm trying to fly as much as I could and try to bring it back safely and land it. So here I'm hovering and trying to maneuver back to myself and pitching forward and slowing down. And here I'm trying to put it down, but then I flipped. So I actually bent the antenna here. So this is my third battery that I was flying. At this point in time, I was still figuring out how to level myself, and I basically was just trying to fly around and making sure that I didn't go too far out, because I was just trying to get comfortable with my throttle and the distance between myself and the quad. And because I was flying first time using my Dominator V3, and this was a 16:9 screen, and I basically wanted to be comfortable with looking at this screen. And here I'm just trying to see if I can hover and level myself without touching the ground. So I was trying to do a combination of the yaw and the pitch, and also trying to make sure that I can pitch forward and making sure that I go at a consistent speed. And when I make the turns, I also use the aileron sticks and leveling up while yawing. And here I was also trying to test out the camera by pointing it at the sun directly and see how the camera performed. And because I was delayed a bit at the starting point and the battery was running low, so I have to bring in the quad around 2 minutes 41. So here I'm trying to maneuver myself and to fly in to myself and try to land as close as possible, and while at the same time trying to level and hover. But I didn't manage to land on the bottom and I flipped. I'm going to take you through my fourth battery that I was using to fly FPV. So this is when I got comfortable with knowing where the throttle was supposed to be at a very low level flying. So I was trying to get myself used to moving around and flying low level, and here I flew too high and I got a bit nervous and I just dropped the throttle and it fell, and the cap on the antenna just fell off. So here I'm trying to get used to turning, because at this point in time I was very comfortable with the sticks, and I'm trying to see if I can make smooth turns using the yaw and the aileron sticks. So I'm trying to remember what I did in the simulator, and when I was turning and I was trying to level it up with a pitch at the same time. So as you can see now, I'm trying to be a bit more aggressive in my turn, and I'm more comfortable with where I was at this point in time in terms of my distance from the ground. And I'm just looking around and just making sure that I stay at that height, and then I'm now trying to make level turns and also trying to hover in here, and I was doing my left turn and yaw, and you can see I'm very comfortable now. And here I'm trying to go forward and then turn at the same time, and I hit the ground because I think I pulled the throttle on a bit low. And overall, in the remainder of this video, I was trying to see if I could make turns without hitting the ground, and I wasn't nervous anymore. My fingers were more steady at this point in time, and because I was running out of time, I was putting my timer at around 3 minutes. So here I'm trying to do one last turn, and I want to pull in my quad, and I wanted to see if I could land properly, as close to me as possible. So I'm trying to hover and level here, and once I knew that it was quite close to me, I just dropped throttle, and here I landed. So I'm pretty happy with the last battery, and I should be more comfortable next time when I'm going out to fly FPV with my quad.